Good morning, America. The endless winter strikes again. Thunder sleet booms across the Midwest. A dangerous layer of ice and up to a foot of snow ahead for the Mid-Atlantic. A snow emergency for the nation's capital. The government shut down. And half a foot forecast for Philadelphia. The ripple effects being felt coast to coast. More than 2,000 flights already canceled.
And the envelope, please. A blockbuster night for Hollywood's biggest names.
And the Oscar goes to 12 Years a Slave.
The jump for joy seen around the world as 12 Years a Slave is named Best Picture. Oscar gold for a brand new acting sensation.
This has been the joy of my life.
Only on GMA, full backstage access with every one of the night's big winners. As the leading men of Dallas Buyers Club.
Massive storm back east. Our extreme weather team tracking the latest on this winter blast affecting tens of millions right now. Ginger, what do you got?
All right, so you know this storm started here. It started as record rains in parts of Los Angeles, other parts of California too, but it is on the move. All that energy now has its target on Washington, D.C., parts of West Virginia, Kentucky this morning. And this thing is not just snow, it's sleet and a whole lot of mess. Let's get to Gio this morning, Gio Benitez, and he will bring us the rest of the story. Good morning, Gio.
Hey, Ginger, good morning to you from those famous Rocky Steps. You can see these plows working here right now here in Philadelphia. We're seeing a mix of snow and sleet here in Philly and all across this nation, an icy mess. Take a look. This morning, blinding snow and pounding sleet.
Talk about sleet coming down.
Attacking half the nation. From Texas to Oklahoma. Ground-shaking thunder snow, and this rare sight in Norman, Oklahoma. Thunder, sleet, lightning in southern Illinois. Car windshields transforming into blinding sheets of solid ice. In Wichita, Kansas, an ice road nightmare. Hundreds of weather-related accidents leading to at least 8 deaths. In Arkansas, this SUV losing control and plunging right off a bridge, injuring 2 and killing 1. And this semi in Oklahoma City, overturning and ripping open. The irony, it was hauling cat litter, often used for melting ice. On that same highway, countless vehicles crippled by unbearably slick conditions.
This car over here, it was just sliding, and they asked if I could reverse. I couldn't even reverse, because if I reversed, then I'd hit this car in front of me.
It's part of the same system that caused this 100 black ice pileup in Denver on Saturday, killing 1 person. So you've got to be careful out there. And all of us who have been out in this know that this has been an incredibly snowy winter. But just here in Philadelphia, we've seen more than 5 feet of snow so far this winter. Ginger, back to you.
Gio, so far above average, it feels like that winter that will never end. But it will. By tonight, this storm going to be moving on. But before it does so, here's what you can expect additional on top of what you already have. So say you have 2-3 inches of sleet. Yeah, you could get some snow on top. And then really record colds this morning, Robin, that are coming right in everywhere from Kansas City, sub-zero.
All right.
We're missing that.
But as you know, Ginger, some parts of the country bracing for a lot of snow. Others are getting covered in ice. ABC's Alex Perez is in Louisville, Kentucky this morning with more on that. Good morning, Alex.
Hey, good morning, Robin. That's right. Ice is the problem in many parts of the South. There are huge concerns that ice buildup on power lines could lead to massive power outages. Now, in this kind of weather, the ice can form just about anywhere. I want you to look behind me here on this pedestrian bridge. Those are icicles that have been forming since this storm started. And of course, in this kind of weather, that can be very dangerous. Also, there's ice on the roadways, and many people are waking up to find their cars are coated in ice, waking up to see that their windshields and windshield wipers have a thick layer of ice on them, and that's just another problem that many are dealing with here today. Now, of course, authorities have shut down schools, and they're telling everyone if you don't have to go outside today, do them a favor and stay inside. Robin?
Good advice there, Alex. Thank you. Ice and snow means a lot of flight cancellations this morning. ABC's David Curley has the latest from Reagan National Airport there in Washington. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Robin, to you. Here's the good news. They've been able to actually keep the runways clear here. It's really starting to snow a little bit harder. Here's the bad news, though, here at Reagan National. Look at the gates. all through this airport, there are no aircraft, so nobody's going anywhere. Already this morning, we have seen 2,000 cancellations. Expect that number to rise as we get through the day. And here's what we're seeing around airports across the country. They are de-icing planes in all these areas that are cold that you've just heard from, Philadelphia all the way up the East Coast, in the Ohio Valley as well. Now, does this seem like it's been happening a lot? Well, it has. Here are the latest stats. This year alone, we have had more cancellations than the first 6 months of last year and 9 months of 2012. And Robin, I don't know about people in Los Angeles who may want to fly east. It might be a little bit difficult later today.
Well, you're looking at 5 people that are going to face that, but that's okay, David.
My point exactly.
Okay, appreciate that very much.
Boy, he looks so cold out there. Okay, we're going to move now to the latest on the crisis in Ukraine. Russian troops are settling in after taking control of Crimea over the weekend. As President Obama and the West face growing pressure to act, it has become the most serious confrontation with Russia since the Cold War, financial markets dropping all over the world. ABC's Terry Moran is on the ground in Ukraine right now. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, George. Russian forces are now in complete control of this part of Ukraine, the Crimean Peninsula, and they are giving every sign that they are here to stay.
It's all like a bad dream from the Soviet past. Russian forces in the thousands seizing territory, armored vehicles lining the roads, the Russian Navy pouring in more forces, and Ukraine's outgunned, outnumbered troops imprisoned on their own bases by stone-silent Russian soldiers. The big question now, will Vladimir Putin get away with it? Secretary of State Kerry told George Stephanopoulos there will be a tough response from the U.S. and allies.
You know, Russia may be able to invade Crimea, but in the end, Russia will isolate itself.
Already, the markets are punishing Putin with the ruble, Russia's currency, plunging to all-time lows. But the deed is done, and here in Crimea, most people have welcomed the Russian troops, rejecting the pro-Western revolution in the other half of their country last week. It's calm on the surface. But as we spoke with a woman holding a Ukrainian flag, a tiny gesture of defiance against Russia, we saw the fierce passions just below the surface.
Civil war is now a real possibility in Ukraine, so diplomacy with the Russians in control here is where the action is. President Obama struggling to come up with some kind of approach that is creative enough to defuse the tensions and strong enough to get Russia to back down. There is no sign of that, George. Right now, Vladimir Putin is getting what he wants.
That's right, and Secretary Kerry going to be there in Ukraine tomorrow. Thank you, Terry. Time now to switch gears back to the big night here in Hollywood.
It was such a special night, truly incredible, starting with Ellen and ending with a jump for joy.
And the Oscar goes to Lupita Nyong'o.
With her Best Supporting Actress win, Lupita Nyong'o has entered Hollywood's most elite.
As well he should. So many terrific moments. I don't know about you, but I was so touched by the Wizard of Oz tribute. Singing out loud, singing it proud.
And in New York today, Osama bin Laden's son-in-law goes on trial, becoming the highest-ranking member of al-Qaeda to be tried on U.S. soil. Suleiman Abu Ghaith was the terror network spokesman after the 9/11 attacks. An anonymous jury will be selected for security purposes. Abu Ghaith has pleaded not guilty to terrorism and conspiracy charges. Also happening today, President Obama sits down with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House, one day after warning that time is running out for a peace deal with the Palestinians. The president warned that if peace talks fail, the U.S. will have limited ability to protect Israel from the international fallout. And a chaotic scene at the White House Sunday as hundreds of demonstrators chained themselves to the fence and spread across Pennsylvania Avenue, refusing to move. They were protesting the proposed Keystone oil pipeline extension, claiming that it would damage the environment. Nearly 400 people were arrested in the protest. And finally, one of the great golf shots you will ever see. It came on the 18th hole in a playoff round at a women's tournament in Singapore. Take a look. Everything on the line for Paula Kramer, facing, well, a virtually impossible 70-foot putt. Look at that ball trickle down and then break about a foot right to left. tracing an arc into the cup. Go crazy, Paula, go crazy.
I can't believe it.
She can't believe it.
I still can't.
Did I do that?
Her first title in 4 years. She said she could probably stand there again all day long and not come within 6 feet of the hole. A wonderful.